how were you able to get through that time and still have this big smile on your face and talk about it so openly?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, with any job, right, you gotta, everybody's watching right now, everybody's got work they gotta do. And so sometimes you put on your best face and you move forward. But yeah, I think just knowing that you have people that you want to make sure you encourage. I think being accountable and knowing that, hey, I gotta be strong and try to be an encouragement for others. I think that helps, people to realize, like, even though we don't want to smile through and act like nothing's happening, and there's moments where you break down and you need to let people know what's going on. Like I did with my wife, my parents, when there were times when I was feeling down, because it's important to have people that you trust and you love. You let full transparency be happening so that they know what's going on, because they're the ones that are going to hurt the most if you pauhana. Yeah. And so you need to let them know. Let your core know that what's going on in your head is not really healthy, and how can you help? And I've been going to therapy pretty much every week for the last 4 years, 4 years about it. And every Thursday I talk to a therapist to help me get my mind right. Like a mechanic helps your steering on your car keep a line so that when you're driving, you don't like let go of the wheel and the thing automatically veers left or right into somebody and hurts somebody. Well, that's what I try to do with my mind, and try to encourage anybody else listening out there that when you're feeling like your alignment's off, go talk to somebody. Get some wisdom, get some good tips on how to, realign and focus on going straight in life, and then that way you don't derail yourself. Because I was very close to falling off the tracks and not being able to be here right now. And I know many people have been at some point in their life like that. So yeah, that's what I think helps me a lot, is therapy and just having good, close conversations with people that you trust. And
awesome.
Yeah, but then also know that people watching. And so if you can show aloha and get through your problems, there's a saying that we have in our house that be strong because you never know who you're inspiring. Yeah. It's a little box we have over our fridge, and sometimes I look at it and I think, well, yeah, there's people watching. So if we can get through our problems, then it might. And one guy that has done that to me that I'd like to share his story is my Uncle Stanley. He fell out of his bed having a nightmare and cracked his neck, and has been paralyzed from his neck down for about 8 years, give or take. And this man was working, I'd see him often, and before he got hurt, he was always somebody that he was there when I wrote, "Ehu girl, cool down." He would listen to me because he'd work around my papa's house, and then when he ended up getting hurt, he couldn't move he couldn't even scratch his head. And so I was really close to this uncle. But when I had my accident, I had a car accident around the same time, 2016. And my back was sore. I couldn't surf. I was feeling super depressed, and being 23, 24 and not being able to be energetic in Kolohe was depressing for me. And that was during this time I was sad. I went to go visit my uncle who just got paralyzed, and he's asking me how I'm doing. Yeah. And then I'm like trying to put on a face and tell him, I'm doing okay, uncle. Had my car accident, kind of really, really bust up right now. And he told me, he says, well, let me tell you, boy, I'm grateful to be alive. I can't even scratch my forehead, but I'm grateful to be alive. So what is it that you can be grateful for? And his example inspired me big time. Yeah. Because still to this day, he's laying in his bed and he asked me to scratch his forehead. And here we are physically being able to walk and surf and go holo places. And yet my uncle is still in his bed, and his attitude is so inspiring that I think that's the way we got to do, is like find those people in your life that are going through something more hard than you, put you in your place. Of course, we're all going through challenges, but just remember it can be endured. Yeah. So I hope that story can help encourage people. That I wrote round and round a lot from that man's example, because his problems in his bag, people would just look at him not thinking, oh, uncle, he laying in his bed long time, man. Bro, he's been in his bed 8 years. Yeah. So something to remember. We can get through any challenge, and he's so positive. Hope is the only thing that keeps him grounded. And that's something that when we are busy in our life, we forget. what to be grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
He's grateful to be alive. We should all be grateful to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me think of this quote I saw a long time ago. That happiness isn't about getting what you want. It's about loving what you have.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
being able to realize like, oh, I still got this. You know, I have a lot that people could want. Like what you
Right.
said, like our worst thing could be, our worst case scenario could be somebody's best case scenario.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I think just people, we got to take a step back sometimes. Yeah.
For sure.
We can be sad. We can, you know,
Yeah.
complain. We can
Right.
get angry, but just, you know, let that pass and then come back and be like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe it's not that bad.
Right.
But injuries, that's probably the saddest points of my life, because I played sports all my life and million of injuries. I'm injured right now.
Oh, sorry to hear that, bro.
No worries. So it sucks when you're not able to do what you love to
Right.
do.
Yeah.
You know, because I go to F45 now. I have to take some time off. I surf. I got to take some time off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember in 2021, I had surgery on my wrist. So I wasn't able to do stuff for like almost a year.
Wow.
And I wasn't depressed, but I wasn't as happy as I could
Right.
be.
Absolutely.
Because like, you know, you're just at home doing nothing, and, you know, cool, you get to watch TV or whatever, take some
Yeah.
time off, do different things. But when your life is all about like being active,
Mhm.
doing like sports or, you
Right.
know, surfing, or even, I don't know, being able to like walk around and just go to the beach and
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever it is, that thing that you love that kind of is your coping mechanism for a lot of things, when it's taken away, man, you just get into a dark place, and it just straight up sucks.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah. But for me, I just tell myself it's a season.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna pass. It's winter right now, but summer's coming up.
Yeah.
You know, it's not summer to winter, it's
Right.
winter to summer right,
Right.
now.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's like a lot of sitting with yourself and really having these conversations. Like for me, I was always able to like self therapize. I don't know if that's a word.
I got
But just kind of like, you know, get myself out of these places.
Right.
So I didn't have to, you know, seek extra help. But others, you know, you don't always have that.
Yeah.
You don't always have that that mindset. I guess I've been in so many situations where I had to be alone, like living alone in the middle of nowhere,
Mhm.
where I had to get through these things on my own.
Right.
But don't be afraid to reach out. We have a lot of guests that come on here that talk about going to therapy. We have Angela Lee, who's the fighter,
Oh, nice.
MMA fighter, and she has her nonprofit fight story.
Oh, nice.
And she talked about how, you know, when you're hurt physically, you know what you do? You see a trainer, you see a doctor, you know,
Mhm.
you go to physical therapy, and that's a super common thing to do.
Right.
But you know, when that check engine light comes on in our mental health,
Yeah.
we kind of just ignore it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we got to start normalizing our, like, taking care of our mental health just the way we take care of our physical health.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So mahalo for sharing your
Yeah.
story, because it's really inspiring, and it's going to help a lot of people that's listening to this.
Right on. I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your brain controls everything. You
Mhm.
know, your brain and your heart, the most important. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like your mind, with how much stress comes from stuff like social media or watching the news and seeing how it's going on in the world,
Yeah.
and the chaos, the sad times. Our brains are never really like kind of designed for that much information all the time. So we're overwhelmed. So if you're feeling like that, and you need help, it's nice that you've had experiences where you've learned independence though, to try to grow and muscle through certain stuff. And then if you cannot do that, and you realize you did everything you could on your own, then yeah, go seek help. And it's not something that's a shame. Back in the old days was taboo. Yeah. Oh, you going to see a shrink.
Yeah.
That was the thing, one shrink. Like, what does that word even come from? Like what is that? It's one guy who like makes things small so you can see what's important. I don't even know what that word comes from, but
I
just,
didn't even think of it. Like
yeah,
that.
like what is a shrink?
Oh.
Like, I don't know. But anyway, I think that it's so healthy to go.
Uh-huh.
And every week I try my best to talk to somebody. And sometimes the Zoom is even better because you can just go straight to your office or your bedroom, and you don't have to drive and then sit inside one one lobby with people waiting and people looking at each other. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
If you could change put it in a bag and exchange it.
Yeah, it's like everybody looking at each other like kind of embarrassed, like, oh, we're here to seek help. It's like, bro, you can set up a Zoom appointment with your therapist and then not have to deal with that. So that's what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's BetterHelp. I think I've heard that before, and then there's a lot of other ones like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to do, and that's what I try to have with these discussions is try to encourage and inspire people that they're not alone. We love you. You get family that love you. So if you're at a downtime right now, you know, go get help or go to the beach. Go, you know, put a bodyboard in your hands and just catch waves. Just don't catch crowds.
Yeah, exactly.